Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. Welcome to EV Components Review. I wanted to make a correction, show something that I did, and show something that I missed. So anyway, the correction is, in both power stages, I said these MOSFETs were cooking, or these capacitors were cooking. You know, they were getting too hot and they were turning dark. I have washed this board with denatured alcohol and then with xylene to cut the flux off of it, because just, you know, soap and water and a toothbrush didn't do the trick. And when I did, the flux washed off these ceramic caps, and as you can see, they're very blonde again. So they are getting warm, they are overworking, but it was the flux on them that was turning dark, not the capacitors. So that's my correction right there. Is, you know, clearly they look just fine. They're still inadequate for the job because, you know, like if you look at Christopher Kleinschmidt's latest video, he's showing power stages where they have these three caps and those two are not there. So it's already inadequate with the 5 that is here, and now it's even worse because they only got 3 on them. What you really need is like 5 or 6 here, 5 or 6 of the same caps here, 5 or 6 right here, and 5 or 6 right here, so that your battery bus throughout all this stuff for high frequency noise is well filtered and well controlled. So yeah, those are obviously, you know, not doing enough. They can't do enough, but they're not turning dark from heating, just the flux on top of them was. So yeah, still inadequate. That problem hasn't gone away. So that's the first thing. So the thing that I did, that's number 2, is the bridge complex, or the stud complex. It used to be across here, so battery plus, battery minus, 3 phases all tied together with that big hunk of glass reinforced plastic. When I had this all molten before, I did lift it vertically with a pair of pliers, but in doing so, let me put this in place just so you kind of see what happened. So this little piece of copper was also underneath there. When I lifted it, I bumped it like that, and bumped it into this MOSFET. Remember, everything here, all the solder was molten. And so I bumped this MOSFET into that MOSFET, and you can see that one's still a little bit crooked. I also bumped that capacitor completely off its pads, and I bumped that resistor off. Missed this one completely. Don't know how, but I did. So anyway, yeah, this piece of copper, I was going to pull the copper off anyway so we could see underneath it. And now we have. And so that resistor and that resistor, I put those back in place, you know, with tweezers, and got them nice and straight. This one here, you can see is still a skosh crooked, and this one's even more crooked. I didn't care, all right? I just want you to see, you know, I did this kind of for twofold, so you can see what manual placement can potentially look like, and to see what good manual placement can look like. So good manual placement, did it kind of rough on purpose, got it a little bit crooked because I didn't really care enough. Wanted you to see what it looks like when somebody touches something like this, does manual repairs, and puts stuff back in place and doesn't get them straight. And so, yeah, there you go. That's what that is. So that's the thing that I did. But at the same time, you can see, because I put both that resistor and that capacitor back in place myself, and they are nice and straight. I can obviously do very good work, or I can do the sloppy kind of work, like is very evidenced on my power stages, or my middle power stage, on my Rush controller. You got, you know, crooked parts. In fact, you can see it kind of a little bit. See the line above there? You can see it being pushed. Yep, this one here, I left it alone, never touched it. So yeah, evidences of manual repair. Okay, so the third thing was what? I forgot. Forgot what it was. Oh yeah, this. So when I was previewing my last video, I didn't notice this when I was looking at this piece of battery minus copper reinforcing, but I did when I was watching it later. Yeah, come on camera, focus in on that. There we go. See all those voids underneath there? Yep. That is super awesome. Yeah, look at all those voids underneath there. That's literally an air gap between the added copper and the circuit traces underneath. And it's everywhere down that piece of copper. Yeah, that's Super cool. Good job, KO Moto. Can you suck any worse? Yeah. To me, if I was building this power stage, I would say that is utterly unacceptable. So you can see this flat spot right here. You can see where that bridge was attached. Yeah, you can see how flat it is. Let's look at that. So here is that bridge, or that piece of copper. And so you can see I've got them pretty much oriented in the same place. Here's a notch where that bridge goes down. So here is that area where that void is. And you can see the copper is pretty flat through this area. And we can kind of see some of the features of this void right here. So you see this little flat spot right here? Well, there it is. There's that little, feature right there. It's solder. It's going to kind of flow its own way, but you can still see the definition. This whole little void, that's this part right there. Let's see, can we see something else, like, say, like that little curve right there? Yeah, that's right here. It's that curve right there. So had I noticed before I pulled this up, we probably would have seen that void edge on. Oh, like we can see those. Yeah, awesome work. KO Moto, you guys just bring me the best crap there is. Yep, good job, KO Moto. Gotta say, never have I run into a company that does such shoddy work, such crappy work, such lousy design work as KO Moto does. Yeah, you guys have set me a new rock bottom standard for everything in the power electronics industry. You guys have set me a new rock bottom standard because your stuff is horrifically bad.